climate change. However, with these droughts, we have something that we faced recently, is something unknown. It's dry and hot, as Pierre was saying, but at the same time, we had faced something strange. Very extreme rainfall events. These extreme rainfall events, it happens once in a decade or whatever, but it is very heavy. We're talking in Bombay in 2005, now more than 900 millimeter happened. It's monsoon at mesoscale. I think there is something related to change in the climate happening. In Jeddah, for example, in November 2009, this is the first time we observed a rainfall of 74 millimeter in 4 hours. And imagine, there is no infrastructure, there is no barrier around the city, so we had a big flash flood coming to the city. And 120 people died. And their forecast actually was really not high resolution. And it was just running on a small server, and the prediction was normal, actually. And it's just a normal message. It is expected to have rain over Jeddah. People, they don't care. However, we had some preparation here. And there are some dams around Jeddah happened. But in 2011, January, it's just only the second season, we had 111 millimeter of rainfall in less than 4 hours. And there was no rain and no flash flood coming from outside, but there was an urban flood. So all our street was flooded by rain, and all the life was blocked. And it happened in the morning, around 11 a.m. in the morning, and everybody were in the business, people in the schools, they couldn't come to their houses even. For example, for me, I was stayed overnight in different area. I couldn't come to the house due to the flooded urban water. Same happened actually in different places. In the north, it happened in Riyadh, the central, in the south. So these are just only some examples. And also we had some prolonged extreme spell even happened in the region. So all this actually is happening recently. And adding to that, I don't know whether you have severe thunderstorms, we have big downdraft coming from this city. And normally what we call it convection, it's happening a deep convection. A deep convection with the big, deep downdraft normally happens and blow such a dust or wall, you can say, it's reach up to 10 kilometers. So we need actually some model even to do the prediction of the thunderstorms, in fact, and try to resolve this issue. Now in fact, in King Abdulaziz University, we have the Department of Petroleum, and it has been established in 1975. And we recently, in 2009 and 2010, we tried to build the Center of Excellence really to try to tackle issues related to the climate and weather of the Arabian Peninsula. Maybe you can Google on Center of Excellence for Climate Change Research, and you would see how many publications that we did in this center in recent period. And this is just only an example of how we invest the center, and I hope we can have this slide in the internet from Fujitsu. But this is what we are doing with the supercomputer and why we need it. We will do the extreme, the ensemble, and some of the IPCC report and improve our weather and climate forecast. In the evolution of the center, I mean, this is just only an example of the people. Even if you haven't started on having high performance computer, you can just start in a smaller scale and then you grow up, like what we did. We started in 2007 with a PC. And the first thing that we did is really to use a regional climate model. We get it from UK Met Office and try to simulate the future climate. And we were very happy at that time to see how is the temperature is it changing in 100 year times. So it is a good experiment to us. And then we started in the center with small project to obtain a 32-core HPC where we run our weather model also. And later on, we had like a small HPC, which is still running in fact, with 232 cores plus the storage of 100 terabyte. That actually in 2009, 2010, and I believe if in IMD, they may not have data storage at that time, But it was a big storage we had. And we believe at that time the storage is really very important to have. And as we developed our research and increased our research PhD student, we now have a big supercomputer, which is about 12,000 cores, and it is about 350 teraflop. And this is, in this model now, we are able to run many simulations. We are running many ensemble runs. We are running weather in high resolution and climate on seasonal prediction. And we are happy actually to having this with Fujitsu. I mean, it is a story that we have built it together in collaboration and mutual understanding of between the two parties. So, in current state, climate and weather actually are the main user of the HPC. So our researchers, more than 20 people, are utilizing at the moment 30 to 50% of this supercomputer. And I believe if we give 1 petaflop, we will be able to utilize it as much as we can. But the good thing that we have in this supercomputer is really the size. We believe that, Pierre has already shown to us how is the development going on computing processors. He's talking about one rack, in fact, he mentioned, like 500 teraflop. And our machine, actually, it is 12,000 core, 12,000 CPU. It can be fit in one rack in 2018 and 2019. But our current supercomputer, in fact, is about 25 meters long. So all this in the future is going to be in one rack. But there's a big problem that all of us will be facing. Not in terms of the computing processors, but actually in data size. Even in this workshop, in this event, to just go back to my presentation, and I showed you how is first, we belong to the university. We are focusing not on operational forecast. It is the work of the national unit offices. But we found even in our own capacity that the system that we had before, like 200 cores, when we moved our endeavor to global climate modeling, that the system that we have is really not enough. And we thought actually to write to the university on how there is a need, in fact, after this extreme event that happened in Jeddah and other places, there is a need to have a higher computing facility, in fact, to simulate these runs. And the fact that the university actually is supporting research and development in the recent 10 years period from 2009, and the government, as you know, also being supported by having another university, which is called King Abdullah University for Science and Technology. You may know about this. And they have big research corporation in that case. Governmental universities are requested actually to develop research in this regard. So we told the university how having an HPC or a supercomputer will not just only help the Center of Excellence for Climate Change Research, but also will help other research in other departments like genome, like chemistry, like physics. So we wrote a proposal, and the senior management of the university believed in what we say, and they requested us actually to start building a proposal for purchasing an HPC.
Thank you. And what did Fujitsu propose as an end-to-end solution that was different from the other vendor?
Frankly speaking, we had no target to any vendor in our first proposal. So we were very transparent, and we had sent an open tender to all vendors, in fact. But we had two aims in this tender. The first aim is really to have a good hardware, and the second thing is really how is the vendor can help in development research in KAU. So the senior management, even the vice president told us, look, we need an HPC, but we would like to make sure that today you put your simulation and next day you will get the paper to be published. So they need actually research, and they need innovation, and they need patent. So we had actually